Yo, welcome to the Question Mindset Podcast. It's season 3. And for the first episode, I just want to give a special thanks to all the watchers, the supporters, everybody that's been tuning in to each episode of the podcast. It means the world, and I'm actually starting to see the impact that I'm having on a lot of people within this platform, within this whole space. And just so you guys know, it's a new season, new vibes, new guests are going to be coming on. So stay tuned for an even bigger season 3, and you'll see the new things that's going to be coming on because you can already see it now. And once again, I just want to say special thanks to everybody supporting the podcast. Now, for the first episode, it's going to be a banger. I have my man, Gary Wilson. He served over 22 years in the military. He's an officer a retired officer. He was a commander of a battalion. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but he was a commander over 500 troops, and he's going to drop amazing and a lot of gems on leadership, how to flow when you just become, when you recently became a leader over a team, a group, an army, whatever the case may be. The wisdom and how you can apply it is going to be timeless, and you can apply it to anything and everything. He dropped gems on leadership, dropped gems on finding your value that you give to other people in your life, and first and foremost, how to find the value within yourself before you can even find the value that you can give to others, because you have to find that value first before you can be able to know what value you give to others. Bro, it's going to be a dope episode. Make sure you tune in, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Well, I said that wrong. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the podcast, and it's going to be a great one. Peace. Well, not peace. See you soon.
Don't feel nobody, I'm rocking, feel God. Can't rob with you cause I ain't feeling God. I made a bet Jesus could be the odds. He can shine through me cause I'm the son of God.
So I wanted to start off with this one question because I was actually looking, through your page and, looking into you and seeing all that you do. I didn't know you competed in fitness competitions. I knew you were a realtor, but I didn't know you were in mortgage too as well. You're in all these things. So the question I want to start with is, I see you doing and crushing in all these aspects of your life. So through all the hustle, through all the grind, through everything that you do, what's been on your heart or on your mind lately? Whether it's you wanting to provide for your family, you thinking you need to be better, what's been on your heart or mind lately that's been a consistent thought or a consistent feeling within your heart?
You know what, man? I think the biggest thing really is a trendsetter. Like, I'm a fan of, I want to push people to the limits. I want to push people to that next level. There's one thing I said, like, people don't listen to what you say, right? They watch what you do. So I can tell people all day, hey, y'all need to be in fitness. Hey, y'all should do this. Y'all should do that. Y'all should do whatever. People will listen to it and it's cute until they see you doing it. Then it's like, oh, he's for real. So I felt like that was, my first transition was business. My first transition was fitness, right? Let me get into fitness. That was my biggest thing, I didn't grow up doing a lot of fitness. And so I eventually evolved into it. And so when I started doing it, I started taking action on doing these things. That really just spearheaded everything, because what the beauty of fitness is transition. People don't believe that you can really transform your body to what you want it to be.
People don't believe that.
People don't believe that, right? I don't think people believe that. I think because of self-doubt. Because they've never been there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
and so, and then they hear the stories of how to get there and they don't think they can do it. You know what I mean? I have to eat, I don't want to eat like a rabbit. You don't have to eat like a rabbit to get into fitness. You don't have to eat like a rabbit to get a 6-pack. You don't have to eat, you know what I mean? There's ways that you can get there, but consistency, determination, and focus, those things that's the game changer right there. And everything,
Got you.
But I think that was to answer your question, getting back to your question. I think, I know the biggest thing was when I noticed how many people were paying attention to me. And when I did these things, I had a lot of followers from my family. I would do this, and then I see family members do it. I started fitness. Then I started seeing people pop up, and they start asking questions. I started a business. Then I started seeing people come up in business. So it was like, wow, people are really watching me. Let me keep moving. I got to keep moving. Like, I don't have a choice now but to keep elevating.
Got you. So you noticed yourself being an example for many people
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that comes with a lot of added pressure when you started to realize that? Because I've seen people, when they see that they're an example for people, it's tough for them to even show emotions or show what they're going through, because they feel as if they need to be that rock for that person. And if they break, they think it's going to help or cause the other person to break or have that within themselves. Do you
Yeah.
feel like, you have that added pressure sometimes?
I mean, in the beginning, I did, right? Because I was younger when these things started occurring. So, you start hearing all the positive things. Man, look at Gary. Gary's so great. Look at Gary's body. Look what Gary's doing. He's in the military. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting gassed up, right? My head was, bro, like my head was swelled up. Like, I'm walking around like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I am that dude. Like, I am that dude, right? But then what that did to me is it made me, for me, I know it's later on that I had to be like that perfect guy.
Really?
I wouldn't share my failures. I wouldn't share the process. I just want you to see the results and praise me on it. And I didn't say this outward, but it's just, I feel that was a thing that that's what I enjoyed, because I haven't really gotten a lot of praise. And it's no shot on anybody. It's just that type of, nobody's ever said, man, Gary has a nice body. Why? Because I grew up as a fat kid.
Really?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So now to hear these new things about me, it was like, yo, they talking about me in fitness? Yeah.
So how did you kill that ego? Because sometimes that can become like, when you see yourself transitioning into a new you, like you said, you didn't hear all these things. You can kind of grow like an ego. And I've heard Kevin Hart talk about this in one of his books. He's like, when you have money or you reach a new status or you reach a new level in life, certain things that was within you start to come out more, and you have to really correct them or they can get out of hand. Like, how did you deal with that ego so you don't get big-headed, you don't get arrogant, you don't cause these things to cause you to lose the followers that look up to you? Like, how did you deal with all these things?
Be honest. Show people my pitfalls. Show people my failures. Show people the process. Let them see that, hey, it wasn't a switch and this just happened. Let me tell you exactly how I got here.
You were so into the process, you really didn't, even though you had those moments where you almost dibbled and dabbled into that ego, you still was in the process so much, you was like, hey, I came this far, I can't let it get past that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. And it was really just people, it was really family members who were very supportive, and they still are supportive to this day, but they were so supportive that they would come to me and vent about situations in their life, and they would say, well, I don't think you understand. I didn't come to you because I didn't think you understand, because everything goes well with you. And that offended me.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, what you mean that you think all this was perfect? You think this stuff just happened? Yeah, I couldn't talk to you, man, because, I be seeing you, and, I'm like, man, G ain't gonna understand, and he's not gonna get it. And I'm like, bro, let me walk you through the process.
Let me tell you what I really
Let me tell you what's really been going on. Don't pay, and I tell people all the time,
crazy.
I love my page, right? I love social media, but I tell people, yo, don't pay attention to that. I'm only going to put the results on there. I ain't going to put my process on there.
True.
That's what we do.
That's why they feel that way.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. And people don't talk about that, right?
Yeah.
You see people's social media, everything is supposed to be perfect, but that was the misconception. Everybody thought everything was perfect. And so until I started explaining the process and telling people what I dealt with, it was just like, yo, G, I would have never known. You always laugh and you're always in high spirits. I thought everything was just perfect.
So what was your biggest setback or downfall, and that same thing on a positive section, like your biggest come up? What was your biggest downfall, but your best come up?
My biggest downfall, my biggest come up was mental health.
Oh, so they're both the same.
Yeah.
Got you.
It was a downfall because it's like I walked into a room with a bunch of mirrors. It was nobody in that room but me.
Wow.
Right. And this is hypothetically, I didn't physically do it. Right. But talking with a specialist, she's actually out here in Fort Lauderdale, which is pretty dope. But I was able to see who I was in so many different aspects. And I noticed how broken I was. And I'm like, yo, I'm walking around like this. I didn't feel like I was. I thought I was just playing a role and I had a good mask on. But when I seen when I just seen who I was at that moment, I was like, I got to fix this.
So describe that person. Was it how you thought, how you felt? Was it certain thoughts that she was having that caused you to think these things or have these revelations when you went to therapy?
It was, for one, I went to therapy because I have this thing when society or a bunch of people say don't do something, I do it. Right?
Wait, say that one more time.
When a bunch of people say, nah, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, right? I'm going to do it. Gotcha. And that's not in everything, right?
Gotcha.
But in many things, I'm like, why are so many people saying don't do it, right? Automatically we think they're all saying don't do it because it's not the right thing. Maybe it wasn't the right thing for them. Maybe they approached it the wrong way, right? So, I looked at a lot of things of, I shouldn't do, so many people say don't do this because it doesn't look good on you and it's bad and it's whatever. And I took the other side of that and I was like, well, I can do the same thing and now I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it work, like the military. So many people told me don't join the military and nothing against them. That's out of love, right? Yeah. Family, friends, they don't tell you that to be ugly or to hate. They tell you that out of love.
Yeah, many times they don't want to lose you too.
They don't want to lose, right? There's a lot of emotions that come with that decision. In my head, I was like, but this is what I want to do.
Why? Like, well, what was the reasoning behind that?
So, it's actually funny. So I originally wanted to be a chef, right? I wanted to be a chef. And I hated school. My sister's a year older than me. I used to call my sister a nerd, right? Because she's smart. Smart to this day. My sister is so freaking smart. It's ridiculous. But she was the book like kid. Like she was in her book. She made sure I was in my books and whatever. She left to college and everybody was like, all right, Gary, you next. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom,
I ain't going to college.
I said, this high school diploma is going to be the only diploma you see come from me. My mom's just like, okay, what you going to do? I said, Mom, I'm going to be a chef and I'm going to open up my own restaurant. And so from that, because I was so stuck on not going to school, I didn't know in order to be a chef, you had to go to college.
That's why she said that.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that.
I thought she said that. She's like, all right, I know you're going to get that culinary degree. I don't
like,
worry.
okay.
You're going to go to school.
My mom's like, okay, you want to be okay. I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm not going to school. I might get no degree. I'm thinking going to culinary art school, and I'm in New York, right? So there's a bunch of schools out there. There's big time schools in New York. I'm thinking I'm just going to, and the commercials just shows all these people in the kitchen with the hats and all that stuff, and they just chopping onions. They're teaching them how to cut onions properly. That's what I thought culinary art school was.
You thought you was going to learn it in the field.
That's it. That's what I thought. Well, my guidance counselor, this is when they had guidance counselor. I don't think they have them in school now.
They actually do.
They do?
They do.
Really?
They still have it, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm a lot younger than, well, not a lot younger than you. I don't want to say that show.
That was kind of, I do, feel a little bit offended by that, but
chill out. That's why I said not like a lot. I'm
right, just, you're like, I'm just I'm way younger than you, Gary.
I'm just 23.
No, you're 23. Oh yeah. I'm 41. So yeah.
Bro, no. Look. I don't believe you.
Yeah, so you can't. So this, remember I told you.
I don't believe you.
Remember I told you I'm easily gassed up. So this is the type of stuff that gas. So you can't do that. All right, because I'm gonna start sweating. I'm gonna get happy. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm 41. You see this?
No, I don't believe you, dog.
Yeah, man. So it's funny because I told my moms, you're never gonna see another diploma except for this high school diploma. Went to my guidance counselor and I told her that, and she was like, she gave me a stack of papers. Okay, well, fill this out. And I'm like, whoa, what's all this for? Oh, you need to figure out what college you want to go to. No, Ma, you're not listening to me. That's that's New York, right? Nah, but whatever. But I was like, I want to be a chef. She was like, how you expect to be a chef and don't go to college? Like, you do know you need a degree for that. And I was like, no, you don't. She was like, yes. So I left. I was like, I'm not.
You really just. So what was this philosophy on not wanting to go to school?
I hated school.
But if you was learning to be a chef, it was something that you're learning
I thought it was hands-on. I didn't want to.
It is hands-on.
Yeah, but there's a part of it. There's a lot of parts where you have to be in college. You have to be in class doing homework and doing all that stuff.
Of course.
I didn't want to do all that.
Of course, because it's chemistry too.
Yeah,
on top
it's
of
all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff. And then at that time too, it was a lot. Right, I hated reading. Right, I never read a full book. You know, at that time,
Wow.
it was just a lot of stuff going on. So it was just like,
No,
yo, I ain't gonna I barely passed high school. I ain't gonna pass college. You got me crazy, yo.
Wait, so you really had that thought that you wasn't gonna pass college?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you didn't want to go?
Yeah, because high school was such a struggle for me. It was a lot of my friends who actually helped me through high school. Friends I'm still cool with to this day, but they really helped me out a lot in high school.
So when you say struggle, like, was it you said you didn't like reading? You just wasn't interested in any of that type of stuff? You didn't want to put in the work, or?
I didn't know how to read. And I knew how to read words. Right?
Yeah.
But as far as understanding with a book, how you're supposed to read a book and envision the story in your head and retain it and keep it going and all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, as far as I didn't know the tools of like how to read.
Yeah.
Really. You know, so I can read it. You know, one of the books we read was Othello, right? I read it. I couldn't tell you what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
God, I see that now, because like thinking back on me growing up, like I was the same way. I hated reading. There was this book that we read that I remember in 8th grade called The Chocolate War.
Yeah.
And I read it, but it's like I just didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found something that I was interested in where I really started, where I wanted to retain the information, because I feel like that's part of it too.
Yeah.
The reason why we don't learn, or we don't grow, or we don't operate in our best form of intelligence is because we don't find a way to relate it to us.
Right.
So what happened now, where for you now, like, do you like reading now? Like, did you find a way to relate to yourself where now you do these things, or was just that, you know, your season in high school or in middle school or anything like that?
I read all the time. I don't stop reading. You know, once I understood the reading, once I understood how to retain it and how it applied and how you can get into different things, you don't have to read nonfictional. You know, you can read something of, you know, my books I read now is a lot of financial books and self-help books, you know. And learning these concepts of finances, learning these concepts of just being a better person, how to think, how to speak, all those different things. I love it.
That's real.
I love it. Goal settings, all those things. I love it.
What would you say is your favorite book?
Am I allowed to say my favorite book? No,
go ahead.
No,
book for book. What's up?
So one book for sure is The 12 Work Week. Right.
I haven't read that book.
You gotta read that book, bro.
Really? Because I feel like I got in the book because people explain the concept to me, but I still have to read it.
That book is amazing because, especially for the season of my life now, I'm trying to do a couple of things, and because there's so many things I'm trying to do, I have to align my year out correctly, right? So the 12 Work Week is based off, you know, every January, what happens? New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Right? The 12 Work Week doesn't shy away from that. It just says, like, it gives a reality. Like 2 weeks into January, you're talking about you're gonna save $20,000, but you ain't got a plan. And the first 3 months, you know, well, let's say $12,000, right? You want to save $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month. So we make all these big plans in January. Well, we 3 months in. We in March. Do you have $3,000 saved up? A lot of times we don't.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
And I feel like it's through. I don't mean to cut you off, but I feel like sometimes it's in the lack of preparation.
Yeah,
like, you know, you mentioned you're in real estate and stuff like that, and I was a realtor too as well. And the main thing that I took from that season of me being in real estate and as a realtor was, yeah, you can have a New Year's resolution, but you need to start preparing for that New Year's resolution in October.
Exactly.
And then once I found out the 1% and everybody prepare for their next year in October, it's like, yo, everybody is behind by making their New Year's resolution January 1st.
Yeah. Because really, what is January 1st? What is it? If you really, if today, if you really think about it, if today was January 1st, like who tells you today's not January 1st? It's another day.
Yeah.
So why are we waiting till that day?
That's true.
To really start something. Why can't tomorrow be our New Year's?
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I feel like people wait for a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd say a big thing because it always has to be a holiday or birthday or something big for them to change something about their life.
Right.
Why not just do it because you see yourself needing that change now? Why wait till the new year? Oh, I'm going to wait till January to lose this weight. I'm gonna wait till this to lose weight. But what happens when you gain 20 more pounds?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do then? Are you gonna feel that much more empowered to do so, or are you gonna feel discouraged at the time?
Right.
I like that.
Right.
I like
right.
that.
And even in that, I tell people all the time, on that same concept of fitness, well, I'm gonna wait till Monday. I'm gonna wait. So now I'm just gonna kind of get it out my system. Well, the next 2 weeks you done gained 15 pounds. And now you're just going to work it back off. You should have never did it. You know what I'm saying? You just put yourself right back in the same category.
Yeah.
Start today and just and start, start working it now. Let's see how serious you really are.
Yeah.
And why not today?
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? Why not? What's going on today that you can't start today?
I feel like why not today? Speaking for myself, back when I was trying to push myself to be better and be where I'm at now, I feel like why not now is because one of two things. They don't know how, and they want to stay in that ignorance and not knowing how and want it to be gifted to them. That's why that's why some people aren't ever in the driver's seat of their life.
Right.
They're waiting for somebody to tell them how to do it, give them the goal, give them the rule plan, give them the rubric to doing whatever that thing is.
Right.
And they still don't do it to the best of their capacity.
Right.
And then number two, it's a lot of work. They see it's a lot of work, and they want to wait when they're their most comfortable self.
Yes.
To put in the work to have that plan, to put in the work to think. Because it takes a lot of energy to think, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, sometimes after there, you just sit down, being quiet in the dark room and just like, just think.
That's a workout.
It is. It is. It is.
Yeah. Because you have to, when you put yourself into really thinking, you have to, it's not a matter of just thinking. You have to dismiss all those negative thoughts. You have to dismiss all the failures. You have to dismiss all the fears. Yeah. And you, at the same time, you have to be very mindful of the distractions. Yeah. Right? Your phone may ring. You may hang the ding in your text message, whatever, So
that is true. That is true.
Thinking is no joke.
You have to dismiss all these things because it can be like I've seen myself where I'm trying to think about one particular thing and I see myself going on a tangent. Yeah. And you even have to set a rubric for when you think, bro.
Yep. I use it as, if you apply it thinking, if you apply all these different things as you do your job, as you do your food, hey, at 11:30 is my lunch break. That time is designated for that time. You got to be at work at 8:00. You have to leave your house at this time. We don't put ourselves in those time frames. We don't say, hey, this is dedicated just to Oliver. Time is from 5 to 6 every day because we allow other things to come over and consume. Well, I got a phone call. I had to take that phone call. Did you really have to? So if you was at work, did you have to take that phone call?
I like that because many times people, even with that, no, that was never taught to them. So whenever they encounter it for the first time through somebody else, they think that person is just doing too much. Mm-hmm. When in hindsight, like, you have to do these things. You have to. Like shout out Green. He's one of, his name is Green. Well, his nickname is Greenlight. He's one of the people in my circle, and he recently had this revelation that we had talked about where it's like, he operated off of flow state all the time. Granted, flow state is powerful, yes, but what is your flow state for? Are you just flowing, going with the flow every day, or do you have that rubric or that outline that you just mentioned, that time block that you have for the day or for the week, for the month, and then are you operating in flow state because things do happen in life, or are you just operating in flow state just to operate in flow state? Or are you just doing activity just to do activities? Right. Like, many times if you're just doing activities or doing busy work, there is no progress in that. You just have that, you're just in that emotion that you're just accomplishing something. Right. But just because you're accomplishing something, that doesn't mean you're achieving something. Exactly. Yeah, and it's just thinking, learning how to prioritize. So I wanted to ask you, with everything that you're doing right now, what advice could you give to somebody on like how to prioritize better? Because you seem to be doing a lot of different things right now.
So I'm doing a lot, but I'm also learning that very same thing too, because it's hard, right? Because my mind goes crazy, bro. Like my mind, I'll be ready to sign up for 10 things at one time. Yeah. And I'll be ready to get involved in 10 things at one time.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask you this is because you have a family. You have all these things that asks so much of you, but you have a lot of things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like balance it off? Like, how do you balance it off?
Really, what is going to, I look at my time first. What is my time? What is my value? What do I enjoy? What am I good at first?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't want to take on any new thing that I have to relearn something of myself right now in the season.
Okay, just in the season.
Right, in the season. Like I wanna maximize the things I'm good at first. Real estate. I love real estate. I love the idea of real estate. I can't take on a whole nother new field and not even maximize real estate yet. So why did I do it? It becomes a box check. I want to have,
a box check.
That's what it becomes.
On the shelf for you to open up later.
Yeah.
If you open it up later
right.
at all.
Because you get caught up when you get into entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship really, I think in the last couple of years seems to have been a new thing in the world, right? Because it's all over social media. Back then it's like,
I never heard that word. I feel like that word was just created.
It was just created, right? Because I know when I had a t-shirt company a while ago.
T-shirt company?
Yeah, I had a t-shirt company. And the misconception was, even for myself, to open up a company, you got to be rich. People don't realize it's $100 to get an LLC, right? But it doesn't stop there. You can have an LLC and now you have a business, right? Mm-hmm. That's cute, and it's a good thing, right? But it's the things that comes after that. Mm-hmm. Are you dedicating? They think having a business at 9 to 5. This.
It's 24/7.
24/7.
It's 24/7.
It's 24/7, baby. Ain't no 9 to 5,
Yeah.
But I think looking at all that, I had to realize what my time was. There's what is it? 1440, right? 1,440 minutes, I think. I'm quoting that. But 1,440 minutes per day. What am I doing to maximize every single minute per day? That needs to be effective. Mm-hmm. And that needs to be effective for that season in my life, right? So, and this book helps, right? And I'm really promoting, not that I'm promoting this book, but I love this book because I'm actively reading it and it's helping me out because it's allowing me to focus in and really stay in line with what I need to do for this season right now. I don't want to focus on anything else. These next 12 weeks, I am dedicated to improving this one thing. Once I maximize that, then I move to the next phase. Because you get too much stuff, you ain't get nothing done.
So how did you get to a point where you found the many things that you enjoyed doing? Because you mentioned you tried culinary, realized you had to go to school, dropped out. You went to the military, and I'm assuming you went out through your entire contract, right? Mm-hmm. And you came back. And you chose real estate. What made you transfer and go to these different things and go through that trial and error?
The military, I did. I was ready for something. I did 22 years in the military, right? So I did that since I was 18.
Wow, I'm thinking you just did a 5-year contract and came back.
No.
5-10 year contract.
No.
Wow, so you're really up there in terms of rank too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was a little, you know what I'm saying? I was a boss or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna toot my own horn and nothing like that.
Definitely.
No, but and I speak heavily on that because the military was my first job as an adult. This last year was my first adult life not being in the military.
Really?
Never been in the...
So you just got out?
I got out last year, August. Officially out. I officially retired last year, August. So August this year marked an entire year of my first time being able to grow my hair out and well, this is my beard, obviously, right? But you feel what I'm saying? I seen your eyes moving like, yo, G, I don't see nothing on top of your head, bro.
I was like,
right, bro, you gotta. I seen your eyes look up like.
I'm sorry.
Yo, you messed up. Yo, get me off this podcast, yo.
I'm sorry. I need to control my eyes.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I'm talking about my face, bro. But no, it was my first year of me truly my first adult life being like living and not having to request to travel, not having to request to do this and request, because military you have to request to do all those things, and it's nothing bad. That's just how the organization is.
Yeah.
But that entire time, the military is such a beautiful thing, I believe, because they're going to push you. They're going to push you whether you're ready or not. And that's where, I learned what my potential was. That's where I learned what I'm capable of doing. That's where I learned it opened me up like, yo, I never thought I can be in charge of these many people at one time. And hey, guess what? Hey, yo, Gary, listen, you're going to go over here. You're going to be in charge of this 500 people. Whoa, hold on.
So you was like a captain.
Yeah, I was a captain for a time, and had did that whole company command thing. So a little bit about the military. You think?
Yeah, okay. I was actually about to go to the Marines.
Really?
I took the ASVAB. I think that's what the name was. I was actually going to be in like the Alpha Company.
Yeah.
And I was projected to be, well, of course I didn't go to boot camp and stuff like that, but we did trainings and stuff like that. Took the test. They said based off of the test, they put you based off of your rank or how high you scored. I scored pretty high in the ASVAB, and the only reason that I didn't go to the military was I got a last minute four rides to college for track.
Really?
That's really the only thing that stopped me. I'm like, let me try this college thing out.
Right. Yeah. That's really what it was, man.
So I'm sorry to cut you off, but you said something that intrigued me. Like, for me, just looking at how you carry yourself, how you are on social media, you make it seem like you've been out for like way more than 1 year, bro. If I'm being honest with you, I thought you got out like when you was like 25, 30, and you've just been doing what you've been doing since. So, and you mentioned that the military helped you find your potential and stuff like that. So, with you and where you are right now, like, how much more have you discovered of yourself being out on your own for a year?
Oh, daily. It's low key scary, bro. I'm scared of what Gary Wilson is going to be next year. I'm scared, literally, because it's going to be crazy.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. Just as when we were talking about earlier about thinking, when you really put your mind, I forget where it says, what you focus on expands. When I continue to focus, it's like when you put your mind to something, it's a magnet of things, of blessings, of all the stuff that's automatically connects to you. And because of where my mind is going, what the military has, it really built me up to show me, you can be a goat out here. I'm a Capricorn, and that's what we are, the goats. But, that was a side thing. But anyway, it's a reason why. Like, it makes sense.
Shameless drop.
Right, it's a little shameless drop. But no, man, my confidence of Gary has just went crazy. Especially, and like I said, the military really showed it, because I didn't think I was going to be, I didn't think I was going to be anyway. For one, I didn't think I was going to be an officer in the military. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was going to get into fitness in the military. I didn't think I was going to do a lot of different things that I did in the military. So when I did it, as I continue to elevate, I'm like, yo, I'm on my stuff. You know what I mean? And people don't like saying that, because it's like, oh, you can't think about yourself, And I'm like, well, if I don't pump myself up, who will?
I mean, it starts with yourself.
It has to. I will always pump myself up.
Yeah.
I will always give myself flowers. You know what I'm saying?
The biggest victory, or the most important victory you need to have is victory of self.
Yeah.
You need to discover yourself. You need to know who you are. You need to know. Of course, you can never know your full potential because you're constantly chasing after it.
Right, exactly.
But you need to know where you stand right now in life and what you need to do to move on into the future.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about how society says that, if you think so much about yourself, you're bad, you're selfish, you don't care about nobody else, But I take the other aspect of it. How am I going to ever be 100% effective if I'm not taking care of myself? I can't be everything for anybody, for my daughter, for my family, if I'm broke. If I'm just a broken person, and don't value myself, how do I know what value is? How do I know what love is if I can't even love myself?
I feel like that stems from how we was raised, because like, if you think about it, our parents raised us and they threw themselves out of the window to focus just on their child, just on their kid. Their parents did the same thing, and their parents did the same thing, because that's how the economy was. That's how the world was. That's how our thinking was.
Yeah.
But if you realize in this new day and age, in this new society, people who have kids, they're multi-million they're millionaires. They're multi-figure earners. They're chasing their dreams and raising their kid that they had since 16. So I feel like you just had that. You had that switch in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't have that.
Yeah.
Because of how they was raised, because of all the things that your parents do to you, you're a reflection of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
Many times people don't get out of that is because they don't go to therapy. Like you mentioned, you did therapy.
Absolutely.
I'm 23 and I enrolled in therapy when I was like 20, 21 because I realized, I don't know all the things to overcome what I'm working on mentally, emotionally, whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
So once you realize, hey, there are resources out there to help you find yourself, to help you make sense of it all, you will begin to see, hey, maybe I don't have to throw myself away for the sake of my kid. I don't have to throw myself away at all for the sake of my job, for the sake of this, for the sake of that.
Yeah.
I can chase and be who I am, but also excel in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and no, you can't, and also know that you can't cover it all, because that was one of my mistakes. One of my mistakes was I tried to be everything and anything and everything to everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm reading this book right now that I love called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. I don't know if you read that before.
No, I haven't read that.
Fire book. It talks about becoming a leader. And it talks about many different things, many different aspects, and even the aspect of creating a team where it's like, yeah, you're a leader. You're the leader. You carry the vision, this, that, and nature. But you have a team of other leaders because you have to have people that cover you in areas that you're not highly skilled in.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a thing of talent, right? We call it talent management, right? Each person on your team, everybody has some type of a talent. Mm-hmm. What are you good at? You know, even here, right? In this whole, when we walked in here, I asked, hey man, who decorated it? Yeah. Maybe that wasn't your thing, but you knew the talent to get her in here and do it. Yeah. You had, it's just different things. So, the misconception sometimes, and I've had this too, is that I felt I had to know everything. I had to know everything in every single aspect. When I took command, that's really taught me that, hey, you are one guy in charge of all these people. If you don't
delegate,
bro, like seriously, you know what I'm saying? You better start passing this on because, bro, you are one person, and there's a lot of people in this company. Yeah, you can't do everything. You can't. And so I really started holding people to the fire, right? And not that I really had to do with them, because I had a phenomenal company and phenomenal leaders, but I really challenged them to, hey, what do you think we should do?
So I want to talk about that for a second. So you found out your potential in all these things, and you through the military, and even more so as you've been out. But as you was commanding this company, like, how was you helping them find their potential, find their thing when you realize, hey, I can really lead these people. I'm really capable of doing this. And how can you help bring that out in the people you was leading and delegating?
Let them do the work.
What do you mean?
You got to let people do what they feel is the right thing. What they feel is the right thing to do. As long as they're not going to kill themselves or affect or destroy other people, right? Because some people are like, yo, I think I'm going to do this. I'm like, hey, bro, you might not want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
It might blow up the
You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. Yeah. But there were many times whereas I've had a leader who wanted to do a certain thing and I didn't agree with it, but I let them do it. Because I wanted them to have that empowerment that they can make a decision and they'll be confident in their decision. If I'm always coming around, no, you need to do this. Hey, sir, should we do this? No, you got to do that. I'm not helping them because I'm always giving them the answers, right? So I want to build them up. How do I build them up is, hey, what do y'all think? Because at the end of the day, yeah, I'm the commander, right? But really, what's the difference? The difference is I had a degree and I put a packet in, I became a commander, and they did a different route. That's at the end of the day. So it doesn't mean that I've gotten this crazy training as a commander and I've had to go through this extensive training to be a leader to now I have all the answers for them. No, I'm another human being who put a packet in and became an officer. Now I have to play this role as a commander, which I've never done, right? I've never done a commander. So how do I know how to be a commander if I've never been a commander?
So you found your style.
I had to find my style, right? And then even with them, I noticed, they kept coming, they would come for questions. Hey, what do you think? Oh, you think we should do that? I do it. Because now it's not what I said, it's their decision. And then they need to figure out, does it work? And there was times, I felt it didn't work and it didn't work. There was other times I felt it wasn't going to work and it did work. So that's how you build their confidence up and getting them to make decisions. And then that helps me out, right? Because now they're not knocking on my door every day asking me what to do.
And that's true. And part of being a leader and just growing in wisdom necessarily is doing things that work and doing things that don't work, because that way you build up your intuition. That way when you see something at the gate, you already have that feeling within your gut, hey, that won't work, it's going to put us here, and you already have that foresight.
Right. My job as a leader is a visionary. Like, I have a vision for the unit. My team is going to take us there. I give you my vision. This is my vision, and we do the same thing in business, right? When you're a CEO, you're not out there mopping the floors. I mean, would you do it? You can, right? Yeah. But you allow everybody to play their role, but everybody knows what the vision is for that company.
So how do you articulate that vision in the best way possible?
I have to repeat it, and then I have to have them regurgitate it back to me. Because I can tell you all day what it is, but now I need to hear it from you.
So what's your process? Like, you just got to sign the company. Did you already have whether you had the vision from the beginning or you found the vision, but you're at the point where you have the vision now. How did you begin the process of regurgitating it to them, having them do it back to you, and then now you've seen it in action? Like walk us through that.
So the first thing is I have an understanding of the company. I don't know the company.
Gotcha.
Right? I just did my research on it, right?
Gotcha.
So I know the company, I understand it. The first 90 days, I don't say nothing. Because these leaders who are there.
Really? Yeah, they come out the gate.
I don't say nothing.
Bro, I'm going to clap you on that. The book talks about oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
That's effective. That's effective. I give them 90 days and I just sit back and I just watch. And I just take notes.
So what made you, continue with that thought? You sat back and you was watching, but what made you just sit back and watch and not take the route that you've seen other leaders do? Because
I don't know everything. People have a tendency when they make a certain rank that they feel like that rank comes with you knowing everything. I like to think I'm a very humble guy, right? So I don't know everything. And I surely don't know that company. And this company ain't closed down. Yeah. So somebody doing something right.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
The soldiers are still doing what they need to do. They're moving around. They're eating. They're going to class. They know something that I don't know. They have a process that I don't know. I can't come out the gate and just tell them how to run a company I never ran. No, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to take notes.
Yeah.
And I know what the vision is because my leader tells me what the vision is for the company.
Okay, got you.
You know what I'm saying? But I already have that in my head, and I'm just watching and seeing if their actions are aligning with what the vision is. And I'll sit back. And then even after the 90 days, I don't come and change anything. I'll come and ask, tell me why you did that. Right? You move like this. This is what your process is. Why? Because I have another process in mind that I think would be more effective, but I want to understand why you're doing it that way. So they explain, well, I do it this way. Well, have you ever thought about this? Yep, I have. Because we've done that before, and this was the results. I was like, oh. So now, had I been that leader that came in and was like, nah, you got to do it this way, this way, this way, they'll look at me like, okay. Them leaders are like, it failed, but you want to, you got the rank, you want to be in charge? All right. We're going to watch this whole company fall because you want to be in charge.
And that's where you lose credibility.
That's where you lose it.
Because you try to invoke things onto other people, but they already knew the result, but they just do it anyways.
They don't do it.
And because you've done that, you stamp that image of yourself to them.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a lot of energy to just even change that image.
Exactly. Bro. And here's the beauty of what that does, right? When you sit there and you ask your leaders questions, you ask them why they do this. You ask them, you come on board as trying to learn what because they've been there longer than you. No matter what the rank is.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for a lot longer. They'll protect you. Because it's like when I make a decision, hey, I'm going to do this. They're not scared to come to me and be like, hey, sir, look, Because I've already set the foundation that, hey, I got it. I'm higher than everybody in here, but I don't know everything. I'm open to learn from y'all. So how do you show people that you're open to learn from them? You ask them questions, right? You ask them, hey, let me ask you why. Let me ask this. Let me ask this. Let me ask this. And when people get comfortable, it's like, okay, he wants to learn. He wants to learn. So then when they see me do something that they feel, yo, the last commander did that and it didn't work, and now we see Gary doing it, yo, we got to go tell him, dang, that's not it. And so they protected me in a lot of things. Like, I thought it was the right thing, but they was like, hey, sir, if you do that, let me tell you, boom, boom, boom. Or there's a new policy that's out that says, if you do that, this is going to happen. I ain't know that. They protected me in a lot of things. And so when I started seeing that encouraged me even more. It was the momentum. I need to continue to be transparent with them. I need to continue to let them lead and to let them make decisions, because who am I?
Yo, and you even saying that, like when you said let them lead, it opened up something in my mind that I read in the Bible. Even Solomon, the wisest man on earth, he couldn't answer everybody's question.
Right.
Yeah, granted, you can say he was the wisest person. He didn't have to adhere or think what anybody else had to say, but he still instructed people to make their own decisions for whatever you can say for this, just keep it similar to the company, whatever branch or village that they were a part of.
Right.
And then when things got too big, that's when they brought it up to you.
Right. Exactly.
Bro, that's crazy.
Right. And then you take, and the beauty of that is you take those skills and those qualities that you learn and you bring it into your business. You operate your business the same exact way. Right? You want people invested into your company. Yeah. Because that's what they're doing. They're investing into your vision. So you gotta make them feel important. You have to make them feel like their voice is understood and they're heard. And they have the talent for it. Because why did you hire them if they didn't have the talent? Let them utilize their talent. That's what gets them up every day. You don't want to have them waking up every day to come work for you and they're only going to do what you tell them to do.
So you have more skin in the game when it comes to leading people. I recently just started, leading my younger brother. He's my editor on my team.
Nice.
And I've led other people and stuff like that. How do you identify somebody's specific talent? Like, what's your process? What's your lens in identifying talent?
I think numbers don't lie when the result is results, right? Is when the results come out well. It's the feedback from other people who are important. Man, hey, this thing is good. Like I came in here and I love the decor. That's your feedback that whoever decorated it. Not saying that my decision is the only decision, right?
Yeah, of course.
But when you have multiple people saying the same thing about a result, that tells you something about that individual. That's one way, and it's just, it's your own feelings. It's, you said he's the editor for this, right? When he does it, how do you feel? Is that aligned with your vision? Does it, what did the numbers show before he started editing? Was it, before he did it, were your numbers and views at this level? And now he's starting to do it, it increased. It's so many different aspects. And I just feel like numbers don't lie. It's going to tell you how great that is, and then you continue to grow from that.
Got you. So what's the next step for you? Like, you've been a leader, you've been in the military, you know your potential, you know how much more you can be. It's only been a year. What's next for you with all these things that you have under your belt, you have to work on?
It's a lot.
I know, man. It's so.
Bro, you got 2 hours, bro. We got another 2 hours. So I'll say it overall, right?
Yeah, we can end off right here.
And the overall thing, what's next is telling my story. People don't know my story. They don't know my processes. They don't know my skills. They don't know what I've learned. They don't know the failures. They don't know, even with officers, right? When they heard I was an officer, man, you just had it right. Nobody knows I had to put in 5 packets to become an officer. Nobody knows it took me 3 years to get selected. They just think I put 1 packet in and I got it. Nobody knows that the officer that I became, I wasn't even fully qualified for.
Really?
I wasn't qualified for it.
So how did you even become an officer?
So, well, I'm out now, so I can talk about it now, right? So, it is what it is. No,
Wait,
so
is it bad for you to talk about it? I
No,
don't want to come back and bite you in the butt.
no. I don't know if I'm gonna say it, but no. So here's the deal, because it's leeways. It's a lot of what do you call it? Loopholes and stuff like that happens, right? And mistakes, whatever it is. And there's waivers and stuff that you can play around with and stuff like that. And I'm sure a lot of that took into play with this, but I'll say this: there were certain criteria that you had to meet. And we see it all the time in the military. It's not just my story, it's the only story. It's a lot of stories like that in the military. But there were certain criteria. And what I've learned is the one thing is like, hey, you shouldn't do this because it's very competitive. And that scares a lot of people off, right? Well, you shouldn't do this because you don't meet all the criteria. And what I've learned is, I don't care if I meet all the criteria. It doesn't say I can't submit it. So I'm a fan of, I'm going to submit this thing whether I meet the criteria or not. It's just like it's the same way with a job, right? Yeah. When you put a resume, you may not meet all the qualifications for that job in your resume. Does that mean you're not going to submit it? You're still going to submit it, and surprisingly, you might just get the job. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They say you got to have 10 years experience, but on your resume you only got 3. Mm-hmm. Do you not put it in? Nah, put that joint in. You never know what's going to happen. You might just get hired. That's facts. And that's how it was for me. And using that same concept, there was criteria for being an officer, and even the leaders in the recruiting station was like, yo, Gary, don't waste your time, bro, because there's these criteria that you gotta meet, and you don't meet them, and we don't want you to waste your time putting a packet together, because it's a big packet. You got to put all this paperwork and documents, and you got to do all this stuff together. But it was like, yo, we don't want you to waste your time and putting this whole packet together, because we don't think you're gonna make it. We don't think they're gonna select you because you don't meet the criteria. And so I asked them, I was like,
looked at them crazy.
Yeah, I asked them, I was like, hey, are y'all the ones on the board? Because the packet goes to a board, right? I asked him that. I was like, yo, are y'all the ones on the board? He was like, nah, I'm not, we're not on the board, but we just put it together and we send it to the board. I said, okay. I said, would y'all get in trouble if you just send any of your packet? Nah, we don't get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? But we just don't like wasting people's times, you know what I'm saying? And then there's the kicker. In that recruiting station, there was 13 people who were putting a packet in who all met the criteria. I was number 14 who didn't make it, who didn't meet the criteria. So out of 14 people, 13 people meet the criteria. I'm the only one, I'm the outlier who didn't, right? And so they wanted to put all their energy into the 13. And I'm like, yo, G, he don't meet the criteria. Tell him to try again next year, right? Now, mind you, this is my 5th time putting the packet in. Again, momentum. I'm not stopping, bro. I'm a freaking lion. Y'all don't know me, right? And so I was like,
that's facts.
I told my recruiter. She was like, what do you want to do? I was like, yo, if you don't submit my paperwork, I'm not worried about no criteria. Put that paperwork in. If y'all not the ones on the board, send it to the board.
Let them decide.
Let them decide. Let them tell me I ain't got it. Because at this point,
I'm gonna keep going.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna put in something else. You know, when I tell you again, there was 14 of us. I was the only one who got selected. Those other 13 didn't make it.
Let me not gas up your head, but I want to clap.
Right? You feel me? So now you can tell, and this is at year 8 in the military. I only had 8 years in the military at the time.
Wow, so you was a commander for the rest.
Yeah, I was officer for the, I don't know what Marines call it, but I was an officer for the remainder of the years, right? Mm-hmm. But so you can imagine, I came becoming an officer with this whole thing, and enlisted was a whole nother thing, man. Like how I made rank so fast, or just that whole thing was just learning who I was just crazy. So when I got to the table to put an officer packet in, my head was already, yo, I'm gonna win.
Up there.
Like y'all, I'm gonna win. Y'all don't look at my track record. Like, I'm gonna get this. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just trying to figure out when I'm gonna get it, because I know I'm gonna get it. Yeah. And so when I put that packet in, I was the only one who got selected. So you can imagine when they called me, they was like, yo, So we need you to sign some paperwork. So, we can send it to you online, or you can come in the office. But it'd probably be easy if we send it. I said, nah.
Do it in the office. I want to make sure y'all send it.
I want y'all to see me. I need to walk in. I need y'all to see me. I'm going to come and physically sign it. And I'm going to let y'all know when I walk in, y'all gonna see I'm a freaking lion.
Yeah.
Don't play with me.
That's fire.
I was like, don't play with me.
That's fire, man.
And so that right there just took it off. My mindset was just like,
I'm going to get it.
I learned the blueprint of the military. Once you learn that blueprint, bro, it's a wrap. And of course, but that's the thing, right? All these things happen. Is people think it was just a clean slate. I had a lot of turbulence.
No, of course,
right?
Of course.
But that mindset, I'm not gonna stop.
Bro, you said you know you're gonna get it. You just don't know when. You have that belief. You have that undeniability. And my spiritual father was saying this recently, how in this word yesterday, he's like, what is a mustard seed? Right? Mustard seed is, in hindsight, is literally just, of course people say mustard seed, you have to have faith, it has to be small, but it's that belief in general. If you don't have that belief, even though that belief is so small, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have it. But if you have it, that is like having the kingdom of God, bro.
Exactly.
And if you have the kingdom of God, if you have all that, if you have that belief, if you have all that backing you in terms of strength, morale, drive, hunger, bro, I might not get it now, but I'm going to get it.
That's it.
I'm going to get it.
That's it.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to prosper. I'm going to reach financial wealth. I'm going to reach peak financial wealth. I'm going to reach all these things.
Yeah.
So did that belief start, like, what was that trigger for you when you realized, all right, I got this? Was it just you mentioned you found your potential in the military? Was it just a stack up of multiple things, or was there one specific event where you was like, all right, I got it now?
Funny enough, so you remember my story I said earlier?
Yeah.
About and I'm gonna go back a little bit. I joined the military because the military is the only thing I could do that didn't require school.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to college for that, and I can get paid.
Yeah.
That was why I joined the military, right? So that's how it was weird, because I did not want to join. I did not want to join the military. But hey, it's not college, and I'm gonna get paid. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But what I told my moms is I'm only gonna get a high school diploma. When I graduated my bachelor's, that was an eye opener for me.
What you mean? Oh, when you graduated with, like, you actually went back to school?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
oh,
I got my master's now.
Hey man,
I got my master's now.
I'm thinking you was in the military the whole time.
Oh no. There's a blueprint, right? And here's the deal.
Oh, so you followed the blueprint. So you still ended up going to college,
because they said what the military told me, hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
They said, "Yo, G, all right, you're in the military. You only got a high school diploma right now. If you want to get promoted, you got to get some college, because every class you take that you get, it's a point system. The more college you take, the more points you get. And the more points you accumulate, that gets you promoted. So I can sit around and I'm avoiding school, and I'm trying to do all this other stuff. I'm trying to do great, get rewards and stuff, because you get certificates and stuff like that. You get points on that too. But your heavy hitter is college courses. So I'm like, yo, I ain't trying to go to college. But if I'm trying to get this paper out, this job, out this military, I got to do it. And so what the military told me is, they said, hey, yo, Gary, if you want to make it to the next level, you got to get a degree. But we're going to give you a degree for free. We're going to pay for everything. And we're going to give you extra money for books. So you ain't got to pay for nothing, bro. We just need your time. So we're going to pay for your college. We're going to pay for your books. And then once you get your degree, you're going to put a packet in, and then we're going to pay you double what your payment was beforehand. And then you keep that going, and we're going to continue to increase your pay.
You was like, oh, it's no brainer now.
It's no brainer. It's no brainer.
So
I started taking the classes, and it was just like, oh, it's not bad.
So I guess now what people can start doing is, like, for their kids or whatever, is give them a big enough incentive. And they have to, if they don't see, and I noticed that with many things, if they don't see the value in what people are telling them to do, they're not going to do it.
And here's the next thing to that is, again, people don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do. I don't tell my daughter anything. I talk to her. right? I talk to her.
I like that.
I show her. My daughter watches everything that I do. She watches since she was 5. Is the very first picture on my Instagram page. The very first picture. My daughter's 15 now, but she was 5 at the time. And she was at a table putting together these wristbands. These aren't mine. These are another, but I had wristbands, right? Her job at 5 years old, this is my t-shirt company. Her job at 5 was I wanted her to keep the wristband. I had a little thing to hold all the wristbands. Hey, I wanted to make sure that you keep them on it. And when people come, your job is to give them out for free. That's all I want you to do. Okay. And so I took a picture of her just put on her own, just doing it. And then she was walking out and giving it to people. She was even
she was just doing the
most. She was giving it to other. This is the funny thing because it was a bunch of t-shirt companies there. She was going up to other t-shirt companies and like, hey, you should come buy a t-shirt from my dad. He's over here. This is our shirts. Come on, come buy a t-shirt. And I didn't know she was doing that, right? I'm just looking at her and I'm like, okay, she's giving stuff out. So the owner of one t-shirt company came over to me and he was like, yo, bro, I got to buy a shirt from you. I was like, oh, that's what's up, man. He's like, no. Your daughter just came and marketed your whole company. And I got to buy a shirt. Like, she told me I got to come over here. She gave me your business card. She gave me a wristband. I got to buy a shirt, bro. And I was just sitting there just laughing like, yo, what am I doing with this little girl? You know what I'm saying?
That's fire, man.
I never talked to my daughter about business, right? I showed her. And I didn't think about that, right? But I didn't know what I was doing. And here's the deal. She was only there because her mom had to work. That's only why she was there with me. So I was like, yo, and I was in the military at the time too. So on the weekends, I was running my company. And so it was like, yo, I got a t-shirt brand. I got to be at these vending events. Her mom's at work. I got my daughter with me. Hey, yo, let's go. We got work to do. We got to sell some shirts this weekend. And so I would have her out there. To this day, this girl got 3 businesses she's working on. She's 15.
Fire.
She's 15. A whole book of just vision, nonstop. I tell people all the time that you got to make your lifestyle as entrepreneurship a norm. Got to make it a norm. Because of her, she don't think it's taboo. She don't think it's like, I'll never heard of that. No, she knows that I can open a business. It's not a big deal. I can run a business. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? I didn't know that growing up, and it's no shot against any family members. It's just, again, social media helped it because it showed how easy it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't known.
Once everything started to be out there, you see the word.
You start seeing it, Yeah. And the beauty of all that, is, in addition, I had a lot of family members who would ask me about my t-shirt company. Yo, G, how do you even start this company? Like, I didn't know you can start a company. When I tell you, wow. I got my little brother. My little brother got a t-shirt company now. Okay, he got now he went a little bit further than me because he actually makes his shirts in his house. The whole stamp down and all that stuff. My brother got his own. Like the beauty of this is all my siblings have their own company. They got their job, but they all have their own company.
That's fire.
I love it. And I like to, I never share this with them, but I like to think I'm the reason for that, right? Because, it's my siblings.
Here you go, bro.
Yo, look,
Here you go, man.
It's my siblings. I can talk junk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the reason why my siblings got businesses because I was the one who started it.
I'm the reason why y'all got bread.
I'm the reason why y'all got bread.
I'm the reason.
But they're doing, my sister, she got a whole, all my siblings have their own business, and I love seeing it.
That's fine.
I love seeing it. Family members, one thing I had, this is just a side thing too. One thing I wanted to do was I always talk to my older sister about wanting to have an event because I love entrepreneurship. I love promoting it. I really love promoting it within my family. And I was like, yo, I want a day that we can bring all our family members and display their talent, display their businesses, because I want to start promoting and making this a norm in our family that business is normal, right? My sister last year gave me a surprise retirement party for retirement.
Yeah,
right?
For the military, right?
Right, huh?
For the military, right? Or
for the military, yeah.
Gotcha.
When I retired out the military, my sister and my mom put together a surprise retirement party for me, right? Phenomenal. During that time, I'm just looking around. Every aspect of that party was a family member's business. I have a cousin who has a cake business. She makes cakes from scratch. All the cakes was done. I have another, she's a friend, but we call her my cousin. She does cheesecakes. Photography. I had a cousin who has his own photography business. It was just like food. I got a cousin who does, she's big on vegan, and she does a lot of vegan foods. So everybody's who has a business in my family showcase their thing at my retirement event. I get chills on that. Because I love that.
That's fine.
I love that. I want to see my family grow. And you know, going back to what you said in the beginning, like, you know, why do I do this and why do I keep going? Because if I keep going, they're going to keep going, and then their kids are going to keep going.
Yeah.
I need to make this is going to be a norm in my family. That business is not
changing the generation, man. I'm not gonna lie.
That's it. You know, so
that's fine. So in all that, what would you say? And this can be one of the last questions. What can you say is the number? You can either say something that you said earlier, but I want you to say something besides what you mentioned on today's episode. What is the number one advice that you want to make sure everybody knows, has, or resonates within who they are? What is that number one thing?
What is the number one thing that everybody? Ask that one more time.
What is the number one advice that you would want to give to somebody?
You have to know what your value is. That's been my biggest transition in my life, is knowing who I am and how valuable I am. Right? That's not a thing you find out overnight. You know, I did 2 years of therapy to find that out. Broke everything down in my life only to build it back up, to realize why I do what I do, why I make the decisions I made, why I move the way I move, why things are so important, why things are not important, why things bother me, why they don't, and how I how I live. Why is Gary who Gary is? And so when I peeled the onion back and put it back together, I realized who Gary was, and I realized how valuable he was. That took it to a whole nother level of just knowing, you know, because when you learn your value, that then teaches you what your purpose is. And then when you have that, it's almost like you are aligned and moving in the right direction. So you're moving in purpose. You're moving purposefully, right? I just messed the whole word up, but I'm sticking with it. I ain't changing it, right? Right. But you move, but then at the same time, you know your value.
Yeah.
And because when you know your value, you know who you can bring in your bubble. Because that's another thing, you know. And I know you said it's one, but it's knowing, you know. It's knowing what your value is. I think that's going to be the start of it, because you're not going to know who belongs in your bubble if you don't know who you are. And if you don't know what your value is. You know? Yeah. And so purpose will come as you move. Purpose will come as you know who you are. Purpose will come as you have an open mind. Because a lot of times when you don't know your value, you don't break your stuff down, it's just a lot of trauma. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of heartache. It's a lot of confusion that goes on into your head. You may not know what your purpose is because you got so much stuff that's stuck in there. Clean that stuff out through mental health, and clean that stuff out through talking to people who are not going to just say, yes, you're right. No, talk to somebody who's going to look at you like, yo, bro, you was wrong for that. You was wrong. You should have did that. Or you're doing this because of this. Nah, I don't think so. Yeah. Because you said this. And then I go home and I think about it and I was like, yo. And I purposely chose a female. I didn't want a dude. I wanted a female to give me, because I just wanted a different perspective. I felt, and I would go back to another guy for, you know, just kind of at this phase of my life now. But that phase, I truly wanted somebody different who not necessarily didn't understand me, but was able to give me a different perspective to teach me something different. You know what I mean? I felt that was very valuable for me. But yeah, so knowing my value, knowing my purpose will teach me who belongs in my bubble. And then once you have that, you know, it moves on.
The world is yours, bro.
The world's yours, you know. And bubbles are meant to, the beauty of a bubble is they're meant to pop, right? So that bubble you have may not be forever. It may pop and you create another bubble. And you may have two people in that bubble from the last one. Or maybe it's a whole new, brand new, slow, you know, a group of people. But
I like the way that you put it. I like the
Yeah.
way that you put it. And you saying know your value. But first, before you even know your value, know who you are and what are your values. And those are two totally different things.
different,
You're
way different,
bro.
way
I
different,
appreciate that.
way different.
So tell me, how can the people find you? How can they tap into your bubble and everything that you got going on in your world?
So again, we all work on a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
A lot of stuff I'm trying to, I'm prioritizing, But IG right now, that's where that's where my head is set. Not head is set, but that's where I'm set at right now. Fit and Fork, right? Fit and Fork is on and that's also correlated with my real estate as well. But I'm just building that up, right? I'm building, Fit and Fork is basically just my fitness journey. Because I'm not just focused on one thing.
You're pretty built, man.
I'm busting out my shirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a fit dude. What can I say? You know what I'm saying?
You feel me? I need to get my arms like you one of these days.
Yeah,
man.
Listen, all right. We got to work out, man. We do got to work out.
Definitely. But let me know where we can meet. I live in Miami Gardens. You're in Homestead, so we can meet in the middle. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, definitely. I'm definitely down for
There's
that.
actually two nice gyms. There's Adam Fitness.
Adam Fitness.
Adam Fitness. It's in North Miami, and then there's another one called Boxer's Gym. I'm sure you probably heard it in like the Brickell area.
No, I never heard of that.
That's like a really nice gym.
Really?
If anything, we could slide in one of these days.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And there are
I'm always a fan of visiting new gyms.
But Boxer Gym is like where like the heavy hitters of the world
Really?
go. Like you can see what's his name, Ryan Garcia.
Really?
You can see millionaire, like a bunch of millionaires and high net worth people go to that gym.
It's in Brickell.
It's in that Miami city, in the city area in Miami.
I never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Definitely.
Let me know.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, it was a pleasure to have you on today. Dropped a lot of dope gems. And at the end of the day, we're here at the Question Mindset Podcast, and we're here helping you do the do to do life well. Peace. Yo, thanks again, man.
This is good, man. I love this.
Hey, wait, if you like this episode, make sure to check out similar ones like this. I don't know which side is going to be on, but you pretty much get the idea. And if this episode helped you think better, perform on a higher level, and, be a little more confident, make sure you share this video with somebody that might need it, that might need that extra boost. And also hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because I want to continue to see the impact that this platform, this podcast is having on the entire world. So make sure